Let's get a little bit higher up. I can jettison that fairing. Okay, here's your grenade. Yay. Not much view out those windows considering there's just big fucking fuel tanks out there. And I'm in space. Can deploy my solar panels. And my antenna. Uh-oh. Those solar panels are real close to... I didn't account for the bigger when I upgraded the side boosters, but that's fine. They're fine. It's only going to lightly rub on the boosters. Okay, so... I'm just going to cheat and go in here and go circularize. So I got a thruster weight of more than 1, which is more than I need, which is good. I've got 2,200 meters of delta V, only 300 of that to circularize, which means I'm going to have tons to use on the transfer burn to Duna, and then I should still have some left over I can use to brake at Duna, so I don't need to worry about heating. Because Duna has an atmosphere, so you can technically aero brake there, but I don't have any heat shield on this thing, so it's a little bit dicey. If I get lucky, I could gravity assist off of Ike, but that's usually not super useful. I don't know why these engines aren't making noise. It's really wigging me out a little bit. Do I have an audio setting messed up? It's weird. There we go. Now we're at a nearly perfectly circular orbit. And then, if I set Duna as the target, come on. 100,000 kilometers? Where is it? There's the encounter. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a weird inclination there, but that's fine. I can fix that I can do like a mid-course correction to fix that. And then we head to Duna. Going to Mars, except not Mars, it's fake Mars. But it's like Mars, because it's red. Don't know why there's no noise on this. It's weird. Bugs me. There's supposed to be noises in the fake space. Alright, so I got almost 800 meters per second left to brake at Duna, which is good. Not counting the mid-course correction, but those usually do not use much fuel at all. So I'm just transferring from here, boosting up to there. Let's add a maneuver halfway through and just try to correct this inclination a little bit. And get a closer encounter. That looks about right. So yeah, like taking my trajectory from here to here, which it would normally be a huge delta. Like, I mean, that's a like 180-degree inclination change plus a whole bunch of like velocity change. But because I'm doing it like this far away or this far away from my actual encounter with the planet, it'll cost me 8 meters per second. That would cost me like 4,000, 5,000 if I was doing it in the Duna system. So generally, the further away you do a maneuver from something, the cheaper it is. Where's Kerbin? There it is. It's way back there. And Duna is somewhere. Somewhere that I can't see. There it is. See it very slightly moving there as I start barely approaching it. If you ever have a really precise move to do or maneuver to do, you can always go in and manually shut down engines so that if you have too much thrust to do it accurately. Let's time warp to actually okay, so that was not quite perfectly accurate, but it's close enough that I can fix it when I get into the system. Doing big maneuvers from a long distance is good, but doing really accurate, precise stuff is pretty difficult, especially if you have this many engines. So Duna is approaching from out here, so there it is. Actually, you can see it. I don't know if it shows up on the stream, but you can see Ike rotating around it just barely. It's getting bigger as it comes. Alright, and I'm now in orbit of Duna. Did I pack my science thing? I didn't. Okay, great. I don't know why it's so inconsistent about that, but that's fine. I also didn't pack any extra science stuff for Ike, but that's also fine. Alright. So, now I need to correct this orbit so I don't just go straight into the atmosphere there. Do I want to land on Duna first or on Ike first? Probably Ike, because then everything will be more efficient after the fact. Let's put a maneuver here. Let's see if we can correct the inclination. Oh wait, I need to. Right now I'm in a retrograde orbit, so if I want to visit Ike, that's a bad way to be. Let's see if we can get in the atmosphere a tiny bit, just to bleed off a little bit of speed, without burning up. It's not going to be significant, but it'll be more than nothing. Alright. Still 20,000. That's all right. We'll see if we can survive this temperature-wise. It's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be pretty toasty though. Yep. So let's just point retrograde and hope for the best. So pull in my solar panels because I don't want them to snap off. There's a decent chance this goes poorly and I burn out or I lose something in the atmosphere, and if that happens, I'll just reload the save. I have enough fuel to do it without touching that, but nah. Save again. Pretty sure there's no point. I think I have enough science to unlock the rest, like the couple of tech tree nodes I didn't have yet, but I'm gonna keep collecting it anyway. Out of habit. Alright, I am now in the atmosphere. Going to very quickly try to restore these so I can get more science out of it, even though I'm literally re-entering the atmosphere right now, but that's fine. If I tilt myself up a tiny bit, that might help slow down a tiny bit. There's that heat. I know I was, but whatever. Just want to make sure I'm not doing too much here. I built a Duna rocket, and then I was just going to expect me to not take it to Duna. Even though I literally said I don't intend to take it to Duna, but... Oh, okay. This is going reasonably well. At the velocity I'm coming in, I don't think I'll have too much trouble with overheating. Ideally, I'm going to use this just to knock down my, to get into an orbit of Duna, and then I will use this lower stage to get me to Ike, the moon. I'll land on Ike, then I'll take the lander from Ike back to Duna, land on the surface, and then head home. So this, I'm not intending to land here. This is just me slowing down. Actually burning my engines at the same time right now just to pull me in the rest of the way. Alright, so that's orbit. If I can lose a little bit more, that'd be ideal. My previous mission here, I think I came in super hot. Like I was on a really bad transfer trajectory, so I had way more velocity than I needed to, whereas this one was pretty efficient, so it's way easier to slow down. There we go, that's orbit. Or approaching orbit, I guess. There we go. So I am going up right now. This was just me skimming across the atmosphere to slow down. If I'm lucky, I can catch Ike right away on this first pass. Maybe not. Oh no, I'm gonna be way too slow. Oh, maybe. Markers are freaking out right now, so who knows. Okay, now I need to stop slowing down. I'm slowing down too much. Alright, I'm out of the atmosphere again. Now I just gotta intercept Ike. So I'm gonna boost up here. Or time warp up here, not boost. So Ike is just the moon right here. It's not super exciting, but I'm here, so might as well. Now I'm just going to very slightly boost the periapsis up to get myself out of the atmosphere. There we go. Then I'll head back down here. very short burn. There we go. Just to get nice tight orbit around Ike. That should work. There it is. Now, technically, orbiting Ike. Science, 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 science. Alright, now let's see. How aggressive of a landing do we want to go for here? The obvious answer is the most aggressive one possible, which would involve just coming straight down from orbit into a landing. Or straight down from a flyby into a landing, no orbit required. In which case, I'm just going to burn down a little bit. Sure, that looks like a reasonable landing point. Now let's just warp forward a bit. Pretty much. Oh, please, I hope I didn't go too far forward there. Oh no, I got plenty of time to kill this. For some reason, my suicide burn counter isn't showing, so I'm just gonna have to go for it and hope for the best. It's probably very early to be doing it, but that's fine. So ideally, I will burn out of this first stage just before landing, and then I can dump it and then land on the actual lander. Hopefully. Okay. So I'm just going to intentionally get down to a very low velocity, which is not very efficient, but that'll let me dump this stage because I don't want to land on top of it. Although I guess I could. There's really nothing stopping me from doing that. That might be an option. Just land on top of this stage that is designed for deep space and is not meant to be anywhere near a planet, and then when I take off, just take off on top of it. Easy. Or just take off, like just leave it there and take off from it. Like a launch pad. Although if I'm landing on a hill, that's going to be maybe not the most stable platform. Just balancing on these engine bells. Actually, yeah, I'm also coming in too fast for that to be possible, so I'm just going to burn out and dump the stage. Oh, did a parachute just go off? No, what was that thing that just went flying? Or was that might have just been gas from the decoupler? There we go, nice and clean. Granted, I'm slowly sliding around, but that's fine. That's fine. Let me just plant the flag real quick and hope my rocket doesn't slide away from me. Ideally, it's more fun when you land on the horizon properly so that this is just barely peeking over the edge of the planet, but I'll settle. No, stop running away. Oh. Wrong button. Okay, well, that was like, it's a very exciting place. Now, so I need to take off and then turn east 90 degrees, or a little less than 90 degrees. Should technically shut down these engines because they're less efficient, slightly. Save those for when I need the thrust. Actually, I think the advantage I gain from the extra thrust is more than what I lose from the efficiency. It's not so much because the fuel between my engines is shared right now the way I designed this. So it's all about this middle engine is slightly more efficient overall than these side engines, but the difference is really minor, and the advantage I get from having more thrust is probably, to counteract gravity, is probably bigger than I'd gain from like 10 seconds of specific impulse. Also, that was not the best trajectory for takeoff, but it's fine. Now I'm having to take off like this to correct it, but whatever. Oh, that was a bit much. Okay, well, let's turn around and undo some of that because I don't want to come in like a rock that hard. Oops, wrong way. So now I need to slow myself down because I want to come down on that side of Duna. There we go, that'll work. Bye, Ike. And now I'm back in orbit of Duna. Gonna come down here and then do my landing somewhere over here. If I can land in this crater, that would be ideal. I don't know if the rotation of the planet might undo that. We have satellites around the moon right now. The Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter has been there for like a couple decades. Like, satellites around the moon. We also have satellites around Mars right now. I mean, we have stuff on the surface. We just haven't been there in so long. I mean, the reason there's no base on the surface is because politicians and money. There's nothing stopping us from doing it, and Artemis, if it ever actually happens, it's supposed to start properly in 2024, but it's not going to meet that date. But the whole point is to have a permanent base on the moon starting in approximately 2024. Or like the program that will lead to a permanent base on the moon is supposed to start then. So we're going to go a little bit up like that. Yeah, there's been nothing stopping us this whole time. It's all just been purely political why we haven't done it. Guy in Twitch chat says, first time chat from viewer. Fortnite better! Exclamation mark. Sure. Because Fortnite and Kerbal Space Program are clearly applicable things to compare to one another. I might do multiple passes to find a more suitable place to land, because I want to land in the on the day side, but I also... that was too steep. Get these solar panels in quick. Time warp in this game is sometimes weird. Where it'll let you time warp through things you're not supposed to be able to. So I don't want to land on this pass. Because I want to find a very low altitude spot. Actually, that crater might work. That crater might work perfectly, actually. So let's do that. Because Duna has a really thin atmosphere, but obviously the lower, the higher altitude you land, the thinner that thinner atmosphere is. So I have parachutes on here. They're not going to be enough to stop me from hitting the ground, but they're enough to slow me down, and the lower altitude I land, the more advantage I get from them. So ideally, if I can land at as close to sea level as possible, it's better. Quote-unquote sea level. There's Ike. And Kerbin's behind it, way down there. It's way down there. I'm gonna have so much goddamn fuel left, it's gonna be ridiculous. Like, way more than I planned on. I probably didn't need to extend these stages, or these boosters on the side. I mean, in-game everything is exaggerated in that regard, but like, yeah, it's the highlands and the lowlands on Duna here are like a kilometer or two difference, and the more mountainous regions are like 3 or 4 kilometers. So it's comparable to like mountains on Earth. Like right now, where I'm flying above is I'm 14.5 kilometers from the ground, but I'm 16 kilometers from sea level. So just this random patch of lowlands that I'm flying above is a 1.5 kilometer difference. So this crater might not be sea level, but it'll be certainly lower. Because there is, like, this whole area is the sea, quote unquote, where it's theoretically where the sea would have been. But this crater will probably be, I don't know, 500 meters from sea level, which will be better than nothing. Realistically, I don't need the parachutes. I have so much fuel I could just land like this, no problem. But, eh. I got them. Might as well use them. As soon as I cross the border of this crater, I want to just start burning to bring my to bring my trajectory down to closer to vertical. It's one of the reasons I want to do a real scale solar system playthrough, is because landing is way crazier. Because like all the geography in this game in stock is because it's 1/10 the like all the planets are 1/10 the diameter, but the height differences are still like reality. So everything is way bumpier like this, but in real scale, all the speeds are accelerated because you have to go faster to keep up to fight against gravity, but everything's flatter, so you just skim across the surface of planets like crazy. Anything that doesn't have an atmosphere, you just skim across. And you're landing like you're going almost like your velocity is horizontal, so you're going super fast, and you're burning basically like you're burning like this, just straight horizontal until the last possible second, and then you're just tilting down and landing. Like if you look at like moon landings in real scale, they're crazy looking. All right. Yeah, like there is a mod pack for this game that is just real. Everything is way more realistic, and it's crazy simulation style. Like it simulates ullage burns, and like reaction wheels react realistically. Like it's kind of a pain in the ass because you have so much more stuff to consider, but it also means even just getting to orbit is way more rewarding. Whereas now in stock, just getting to orbit's like, nah, I got the orbit, so what? Like landing on a moon is like landing on the moon in real scale, realistic, like realism over, because there's real scale solar system, which is just a planet pack that is just the stock game, but the planets are the real planets. And then there's realism overhaul, which is usually paired with it, which is all real engines, all real fuel tank, all real like mass fractions of everything. It's way crazier. Actually, that's super inefficiently and did most of the burn before I even had my parachute set up, but whatever. Okay, so I'm actually still like 2,500 meters above sea level, so oh well. But like the ground is. But yeah, basically, I want to take, because my main campaign is still the stock solar system, although it's also got the Outer Planets pack, which is just, you know, the stock game kind of goes to, you have Jool, which is like Jupiter, and then you have Elu out here, which is kind of a pseudo Pluto, but then there's the Outer Planets mod, which is still all these stock planets, but then it adds a fake Saturn and a fake Neptune and a fake Uranus. But so that's the one I'm playing on my real campaign, where I have all the far future like fusion engines and shit. And once I, you know, quote unquote beat that, then I want to try doing real scale. But that's like a whole other thing that is ridiculous. And probably EVA, we're going pretty slow. Just hold on to the ladders. Real scale absolutely has Pluto. And also Outer Planets mod has a more realistic Pluto analog, because Elu is not a... It's quote unquote Pluto in the sense that it's really far out and it's cold, but it's not Pluto in terms of what it looks like or what its orbit is or anything like that. Like the Outer Planets mod takes Elu and it puts it in orbit of the fake Saturn, because it's basically Enceladus, which is a real Saturn moon. But then it adds a fake Pluto and Charon. There's Eve. There's Moho. There's Jewel. Oh, I didn't land on the side of the planet that has Ike, because Ike is tidally locked, so it's always facing the same side of Duna. So I'm never going to see it from where I landed, but that's fine. Parachutes are working better than I expected. I mean, 30 meters per second is still too fast to land on, but that just means I need a 20 meter per second burn at the very end, or 25. And this is still 3,000 meters above sea level, so if I was at sea level, I'd probably be at like 15 or 10 meters per second right now. Again, sea level being relative because there is no sea. Basically, I mean, there's also there's multiple other planet packs, and that's another thing I would like to do a campaign of, is the Beyond Home pack, which is multiple solar systems and like really crazy borderline fantasy planets. Oh, that was a heavy landing, but uh-oh. Nope, we're good. Nope, we're good. Come on. Straighten out. Oh, this is the death spiral. Okay, I need to get altitude, and then I need to fix this. We're good. Don't worry about it. I got it. This is totally what I meant to do. Totally how this was supposed to go. Totally fine. See? That's how I meant to land. And now I'm just gonna slowly slide my way down this. If I... Uh-oh. In reality, the parachutes would make that way worse. That's the reason why landing horizontally is real rough, because like trying to correct for any like you basically have to time it perfectly, because if you miss by a fraction of a second, you're screwed. This is something that they keep like in every patch for the last like 3 years. They claimed, oh, we improved landing legs, so there's no more sliding, and then every single patch it's like, hey, guess what? It's fucking sliding. There are. I need to start using custom landing legs more because you can build your own with robotics parts, and they have like grip strips that are just super high friction parts you can put on anything, but you can't put them on landing legs because landing legs are a separate thing because the way that they retract. If I remove these from symmetry, then I can probably drop the spring strength on some of them. See if I can level out a little bit. I don't know if that'll stop me. It won't stop me from sliding, but resting on my engine bell might. Apparently, engine bells have more friction than the things built to land on. There's 2. There we go. Okay, so that's a solution. Just rest yourself on the engines. Okay, let's save that because there's a very good chance that anytime I get in or out of this vehicle, it's just gonna fucking implode. They added a world anchor object where you can literally like construct like you can attach parts to the planet so they physically cannot move. They are attached to the physics of the planet. But there's no way to like you can't just like land a vehicle and say, okay, this vehicle is, I understand that it's technically a separate vehicle, but I just, for the sake of the video game, I want it to act like it's stationary. There's no way to do that. You have to take out this separate part, attach it to the planet manually, then attach a docking port to that part, and then you need to manually dock your ship to that thing, which a rocket like this trying to maneuver it to dock it, and because docking is very peculiar about how it accepts stuff. Like you have to be very accurate and very slow and very cautious to dock stuff. Alright, let's get that flag down. Make sure my ladders don't fail. And yeah, when I get back to, because I have my fake starship on my main save, and I need to make sure that I make custom landing legs because I'm using just stock ones, and that's gonna end up poorly. Well, actually, no, I'm not using stock ones. I'm using a modded one, so maybe they'll be better. I did a full, a quote-unquote full campaign of this with colonization mod pack, and it's super cool and super rewarding, but it's also like all of the sliding and all of the physics and the way that the game slows down when you have a ton of parts on screen just makes it miserable. Oh, god damn it. Okay, I need to climb back up this ladder to put my parachute away, because I don't have space in my backpack to put these science parts down. Actually, I could have deployed this main parachute with the others, because I have the tools to repack it with my engineer. That would have actually been way... That might have slowed me down enough that I might have not even needed parachutes, because that main chute is way bigger than the other 4 ones. I don't know why, like this DLC they added that lets you do this deployable science stuff. I don't know why it's so satisfying. Because normally you just land on a planet, you hit the science buttons, and then you plant a flag and you leave. But even though this is not fun, like placing these objects is not fun per se. You're literally just hitting like 3 buttons, but just having something to do on the surface of the planet makes it so much more satisfying. can grab your parachute back, because now Bill's got to get out and put his parachute down. Let's autosave again, because this is Kerbal Space Program, and if you don't save, something is guaranteed to go wrong. Also, this is clearly still sliding, considering I'm pretty sure I didn't plant my flag in the middle of the leg. Put a couple of RTGs down. Alright. So now, got plenty of power. Connected. Should all be good, assuming that it can see or can see Kerbin from here. Which I don't know if I'm actually facing the right way for that. I'm not, so I'm gonna have to wait like a full year to be able to collect the science from this stuff, but oh well. This is a situation where putting a relay array around the planet is very helpful. Alright, mission done. We still have a ridiculous amount of fuel. We have over 4,000 meters per second, and I need about 1,000 to get home. So, I could stop off at, like, the moon or something on the way back, but I think I'd rather just get home. My problem is now I need to figure out when I can go home, because right now is not... Actually, it might be optimal. Trying to do math. No, I need to wait till Kerbin's behind me. So I need a transfer window from Duna to Kerbin. 2 years from now, or a year and a half from now. So time to time warp. A bunch. These guys are just going to hang out in this capsule for the next 2 years. Oh, I probably should have my solar panels out, considering that they probably want power while they're sitting in this thing. I wonder is Kerbin in rain, or is Kerbin visible to my... Ah. Did the science stuff actually broadcast? It's disabled. What? This is one annoying thing about these science things is that oh, now it's going. Never mind. We're good. Sometimes they wig out if they don't have a connection and they just break, and then you have to, which on its own isn't that big of a deal if it's like at the space center, but when it's on a planet on the other side of the solar system, it's like, oh, you just need a Kerbal to come over there and press the on button because it turned itself off, and it's a 6-year mission. Almost there. 200 more days. When you're in time warp, everything physics are turned off when you're in regular time warp. So even if it wanted to still be sliding, it can't right now. However, if something is in a weird position where it wants to slide, but it can't because physics are turned off, when you turn off time warp, there is a very high probability it's going to go like, oh, I can move now, and then just explode. And that happens extremely, like anytime you do a long time warp like this where you're going all the way to the maximum time warp, you basically have to save beforehand because there's like a 25% chance that the second you hit off on time warp, it'll just kill you. Either that, or like it's usually not a big deal if you step down one time warp at a time, like one speed at a time. So like you go from times 5 to times 1, it's usually fine. But you go from times 100,000 to times 1, it's usually bad news. Okay, now I can return to Kerbin. Fortunately, this alarm clock mod automatically takes care of that for you. Oh, there is... Okay, the stock alarm clock... I need to use this more to see if it works properly. It's annoying, because the guy who made... Like, this alarm clock mod has been around since, like, Kerbal Space Program 0.2 or something, because it's basically required to do any sort of interplanetary stuff. But then, as of 1.12, which was the final update of the game, both most recent and also the final one they're going to put out, they had that mod maker come and add it to the vanilla game, which is rad, except it's way less functional than the mod version and has way less, like, way fewer options. Like, you can do all this different stuff, like, oh, you know, notify me when the science is ready, notify me when, you know, if you have a life support mod, you can notify when the life support is running out on a ship or when this contract is due, whereas the stock one is basically, you can either set it to be a manual time. Oh, I guess there actually are a couple options, but it's still missing a bunch of that stuff. So it's like, okay, well, you added it to vanilla, and it's made by the same guy, but it's not functional enough to fully replace it, so now you just have to have both. Okay, so let's do a good save, and then retract these ladders. So these finely tuned pieces of science equipment I have here, I'm just going to leave them. I'm just going to take off with my engine bell clipping into one. I'm sure it's going to be fine. And take off. I don't know why the engine noises are all turned off. They're not supposed to be. You can't even use the it's space excuse because now I'm in an atmosphere and it still can't hear them. This is probably too shallow of a trajectory, but that's fine. The atmosphere is so thin here that it's not a big deal. Although it's less thin than real Mars. I don't know what the specific percentage of Kerbin's atmosphere is on Duna, but I know in reality, real Mars is like 1% of Earth's. Like, you would not be able to land a rocket at 30 meters per second on parachutes on real Mars. It would barely look any different than, you could put 100 parachutes on it, and it would still look the same as if you just had none. It would just fall like a rock. Like, Mars rovers and stuff have parachutes mostly just to make sure that, just to add drag so that they have the right orientation rather than actually realistically slow it down. Oh, that's... I went way too far with that, but that's fine. I needed a 50,000 meter orbit, and I am on a 100,000. I figured these side boosters would be almost done the second I took off. I thought I was going to be doing most of the takeoff with the middle engine, but guess not. It's not quite circular, but it's close enough. Now I just need to get home. Because I'm too lazy to do the work of getting home, I'm just going to use the cheaty thing. Let me circularize this current orbit first, just because it's not perfect. Alright, now that's circularized. Now I should be able to do a cleaner return.
Luffy! It's good to see you, buddy.
What's the what? If you're wondering why I'm spinning, it's because I'm too lazy to do the transfer myself, so I'm just using this automatic transfer planner. But the transfer planner wanted me to wait another 22 days, so I'm just letting it do its thing. Yeah, there's that video in Thunderdome that I... Yeah, don't worry about it. Almost there. Come on. Oh, I'm gonna intercept Ike, and that's not great. I think it'll be fine. Hopefully. Hopefully that doesn't radically fuck with my trajectory. Alright, I'm just gonna dump these side boosters here because they only have 30 meters per second left, and that's not really... Actually, I should keep them for now. That'll slightly lessen the no. I was thinking it might slightly lessen the impact of Ike on me, but no, it won't. That was just... So, I'm just gonna get rid of them. Bye. Alright. So let's see what our actual counter looks like. Make sure it's not terrible. Okay, that's pretty terrible. So... around here. almost home. And then I'm actually done streaming for the night because this has been very long. This has been 5 hours already. What? Whoa, 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 whoa. God damn it, fucking time warp. This is why time warp's a problem. Okay, so that's a big fuck up, and that should be enough to just ruin this and make me start over, but I have so much fuel, I'm just gonna undo it and just fucking fly straight towards the planet. Time warp is supposed to, like, when you go from one sphere of influence to the other, so like when you go from orbiting the sun to orbiting Kerbin, it's supposed to automatically take you out of time warp, but if you're time warping fast enough, it just kind of goes, meh, whatever. Fortunately, though, I massively overbuilt this rocket, so I can just do this, which is the dumbest thing ever. Taking an orbital flyby of the planet and just saying, no, I'm going the other way. Now, the real question is, can I land at the Space Center from here? I think I can. Although, wait, I'm going to need to do it. Actually, I probably shouldn't come in at a vertical angle like that, because that's kind of the worst idea ever. So... Actually, you know what? I have so much fuel. I'm gonna let myself get to a much deeper orbit, like much deeper into the orbit, and then I will turn it into a circular orbit when I'm down here. Which again, horribly stupid and inefficient, but I have another 1,500 meters per second of delta V, so I can just afford to be an idiot. Ooh, that was a bit much. Okay. Now. Okay, if I do this, let's see what happens if I stage. Now, unlike last time, I have a tiny bit of reaction control fuel on this thing. So, if I do this, what? No, okay, no, never mind. I don't have reaction control fuel on here. I was supposed to, but I don't. Well then. Let me load this quick save again, because fucked it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just do one orbit, bleed off some speed down here, and then I can try to get a decent landing site from there. That's a bit hotter than I intended. Oh well, I'm sure it's fine. No problem. Okay, now let's get an actual reasonable landing point. Okay, I'm out of fuel, so I guess I'm landing wherever I'm landing. Which is not where I want, but oh well. It was an absolutely awful return in terms of everything I fucked up, but oh well. Ideally, if I just had a little bit of monoprop on my capsule here, I could... It weighs almost nothing, but I would be able to fine-tune my re-entry and hit somewhere I actually want to land. Oh, god damn it. That's a problem. That I actually need to reload for. I forgot to grab all the science out of my science canister in the lower stage. Which, it's like 10,000 science in that thing. So you come down here. Like I said, I never claimed I was good at this game. I just claimed that I understand how it's supposed to work. Doesn't mean I do it well. Okay, now... What if I come out... Let's just warp here. Honestly, a big part of it is just that I've been streaming for so long that I'm just kind of tired and I'm just ready to be done for now, but I want to finish this mission. So, I'm going to land on the night side. Whatever. I'm going to land relatively close to the Space Center, though, so that's cool. So now I should have all my data. Yes, I have 92 science experiments on here. We'll see if I can skate myself on the upper atmosphere to get to Space Center. Probably not, but who knows. Oh, maybe actually. Getting a decent amount of lift here. Really wish this wasn't on the night side, but a bit too late to fix that. Gonna get pretty damn close to the Space Center, though. Going to get extremely close to the Space Center. This is a very slow re-entry. Man, I was really close on target for the Space Center, and I kind of fucked it up at the end there. Something I don't have a ton of practice at is landing at specific points from in atmosphere. That's close enough, I guess. Grab a surface sample from just outside the front door of the Space Center for good measure. Yay! That was a mission and a half. I dropped the heat shield at the end and that exploded. I got 20,000 science from that mission. And I think I need like 3,000 more. Yes, those were the leftover boosters, yes. From the very beginning. So yeah, that was enough to do the entire tech tree and have 12,000 left. So I can actually recover all those and get money back, I think. Alien Tech is in my other campaign. We'll see. Maybe next time I'll do that instead of this one, or I'll do like one more big mission on this one. I don't know. There is something fun about stock just because it's so simple, but it's also like now I've got the tech tree done, so it's like, okay, what's the progression? Well, I don't know. Just go places and get science for no reason. Whereas with the advanced stuff, not only do you get not only does it take forever to unlock everything, but even when you have maxed out tech tree, you still can trade. You still trade science for antimatter. I mean, it's not alien tech, but I mean, fusion drives and antimatter drives might as well be alien tech because far, far future. Like you can see, this is the size of the tech tree in this. Can't quickly load up my other save, but the other tech tree is like another, I don't know, another 40% on the end of this one. And the amount of science you need for each node increases exponentially. So I think you need like 4,000 or 8,000 science per node further on. Anyway, that was the stream. That was way too long. Thank you for watching, etc., etc. Goodbye.